All right, I'm back with part two here. Sorry about that. We had some announcements, and so instead of pausing it, I accidentally stopped it. But this is part two. We left off talking about cystic fibrosis, and as I mentioned, it is a genetic disorder that is incorporated into all your cells, so it's not like something you can just get rid of. And here you see a person being treated for cystic fibrosis. All we can really do typically is give like vaporization treatments that help to loosen the mucus and allow them to breathe a little bit better. There really isn't a lot of a way to fix this, just kind of to monitor it is basically all we can do. The last part that you read about in section 15.2 is genetic advantages. And when we talk about genetic advantages, it has to deal with the shape of blood, at least the example that was given. So you see here the same graphic we had earlier when we talked about sickle cells. And the sickle cell, this kind of curve shaped cell, actually has some advantage depending on where you live. If you have one copy of sickle cell, you are protected from malaria. Now, malaria is a disease that affects people, specifically in the blood, and generally speaking, in kind of third world countries, so like Africa, South Africa areas. And so, having sickle cell in those places gives you an advantage to keep you from dying from malaria, which is interesting. The idea being the parasite that causes malaria cannot survive in blood that has this sickle shape. The other one is carrying one copy of CF provides you protection from typhoid bacteria. Typhoid is a respiratory bacteria. And if you have CF, cystic fibrosis, it causes you to have extra thick mucus, and that extra thick mucus is going to keep you from getting sick with typhoid bacteria. It blocks the ability of typhoid bacteria to make you ill. So it's kind of a genetic advantage depending on where you live. If you happen to live in a place where there's malaria, having sickle cell can give you some protection from that. If you live in a place where there's typhoid, having CF can give you some protection from that. If you live in America where there's not a lot of either of those, having either cystic fibrosis or sickle cell isn't necessarily going to help you out so much. So that being said, got a couple review questions here. They are due at midnight tonight. Take some time to watch this last little clip. If you have any questions, please send me an email and have a great weekend.